All right, let's get right into it. We're about to tackle one of the most valuable and honestly one of the most misunderstood assets in all of business, your brand. And just to be clear, this isn't some fluffy marketing chat. We're talking about a real, strategic framework that can fundamentally change your company's trajectory.
So let's just start with the biggest question right out of the gate. What is a brand? I mean, really think about it. When you hear that word, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Because for most of us, it's probably things like a logo, maybe a clever tagline, or a specific set of colors. But here's the thing, those aren't the brand. They're just artifacts, souvenirs, really. The brand itself is something so much deeper, and frankly, a whole lot more valuable. Let's talk numbers for a second, because this is where it gets really serious. A study from McKinsey found that for many companies, over half of their entire business value comes from a single asset. You guessed it, the brand.
And it's not just some abstract valuation either. This translates to cold, hard cash. Kantar's research shows that companies with strong brands don't just outperform the market, they absolutely demolish it, delivering returns that are 251% higher than the global index. I mean, that's just staggering.
And one more to really bring it home, top-tier brands, they enjoy a return on invested capital that's over 30% higher than their competitors. So you see, getting this right isn't just a nice-to-have. No, it's a critical core driver of financial success.
Which brings us to probably one of the biggest mistakes that businesses make. If a brand is this important, this valuable, then who's actually in charge of it? The answer might not be who you think. You see, one of the most expensive errors a company can make is thinking of brand as something that just belongs to the marketing department. It doesn't. Brand is a leadership responsibility, plain and simple. When leaders delegate ownership of their most valuable asset, the whole ship starts to drift off course.
Okay, so if brand isn't just a bunch of marketing assets, then what is it? Well, to find the real answer, we have to take a journey, not into a boardroom, but into the human mind itself. This is where neuroscience and psychology give us the real definition.
You know, at its most fundamental level, our brain is an incredible object recognition machine. That's its primary job. It takes in all this chaotic information from the world around us and brilliantly sorts it into coherent, unified things.
And when I say object, I don't just mean something you can pick up. In this context, an object is any unified idea in your mind that's built from a whole network of associations. Think about it. Your concept of freedom is an object. Your memory of your first car is an object.
Let's use a metaphor. Think of a single piece of your brand, your logo, one product feature, your price point. Each one is like a single lonely star in the night sky. By itself, it's just a point of light. It doesn't really tell a story.
Why? Because our brains are hardwired to connect the dots. This is a core principle of Gestalt psychology. We don't see a bunch of random parts. Our minds automatically and unconsciously look for the pattern, the unified whole. We see the big picture.
And here it is. This is the single most important idea in this entire explainer. A brand is one of those mental objects. It's a bundle of all these different meanings, feelings, and expectations that clicks together to form one single, coherent idea inside your customer's brain.
And what's so crucial to get is that this mental object, this brand, is constructed almost entirely in our unconscious mind. Get this, a wild 95% of all our thinking happens beneath the surface, without us even knowing it. That means you can't just build a brand with facts and figures. You have to design for that gut feeling.
So, the big question is, if a brand is this complex mental construct, how on earth do you, as a business leader, actually build one on purpose? Well, that's exactly where this new strategic model comes in. Let's talk about the Brand Constellation Framework. This framework is elegantly simple. It's built around 8 core dimensions. You can think of them as 8 stars that create meaning. On one side, you've got your 4 internal levers, things you directly control, the classic 4 Ps. And on the other, you have the 4 external forces you have to react to, the 4 Cs.
Okay, so let's quickly chart these 8 stars of meaning. Because a leader's real job is to get every single one of these points of light aligned so they all tell the exact same powerful story.
First up, the 4 Ps. These are your controls. You've got your product, what you actually make, placement, where and how people get it, promotion, how you talk about it, and please, never underestimate pricing. It's not just a number on a tag. It's one of the loudest signals you can send about your quality, your value, and your confidence. Then you have the 4 Cs. These are the external forces you have to navigate: the category you play in, the competitors you're up against, the culture of your own company, which by the way is the true source of all authenticity, and finally, the customer, and how your brand becomes a part of their life and their identity.
Okay, so this brings us to the big payoff. Why does thinking this way change everything? You've got these 8 stars. Why is getting them all lined up so incredibly powerful? Well, it's because when you stop managing individual pieces and start managing the whole constellation, you unlock some huge strategic advantages.
Just look at this list. A well-managed constellation literally guides your entire go-to-market plan. It gets every single employee rowing in the same direction, it shores up your defenses against competitors, creates fierce customer loyalty, helps you spend your money smarter, and at the end of the day, it drives real bottom-line growth.
So, this brings us full circle to our final crystal clear definition. A brand is a constellation of meaning. It's a whole network of associations, pulled from all 8 of those dimensions, that forms a single, powerful, unified object in the mind of the market.
And with that, I'll leave you with one final question to really chew on to take back to your own business. Every choice you make, every single day, is doing one of 2 things. It's either carefully connecting these points of light into a clear, brilliant image, or it's just scattering stars randomly into the darkness. So which is it?